Part 1, The Discovery. The Forgotten Mining Tunnel. Yarrick Winters wiped sweat from his forehead as he crawled through the narrow maintenance tunnel. The mining station's lower levels had been abandoned for months, but the power grid still needed regular checks. His headlamp cut through the darkness, revealing rusted pipes and forgotten equipment scattered across the metal floor. Strange energy readings. As he reached Junction 7, his scanner began beeping frantically. The energy readings were off the charts, but that was impossible. This section had been powered down for weeks. Yarrick frowned and followed the signal deeper into the abandoned mining shaft. The tunnel opened into a vast cavern that hadn't appeared on any station blueprints. The crystalline being. In the center of the cavern lay something that made Yarrick's breath catch in his throat. A creature unlike anything he had ever seen rested on the rocky floor. Its body was translucent, like living crystal, with veins of soft blue light running beneath its surface. The being was roughly humanoid but stretched and elegant, with long limbs that ended in delicate, claw-like fingers. Signs of distress. The creature's light was fading, pulsing weakly like a dying star. Yarrick could see cracks spreading across its crystalline skin, and a dark substance that might have been blood pooled beneath it. Despite its alien appearance, there was something unmistakably intelligent in the way it lay there, as if it had crawled to this spot seeking shelter. The rescue attempt. Yarrick approached slowly, his engineer's mind racing. The creature's body temperature was dangerously low, and the energy reading suggested it was running out of whatever power source kept it alive. He couldn't just leave it here to die. Moving carefully, he activated his portable heating unit and placed it near the being. Unexpected response. The moment the warmth touched the creature, its eyes snapped open. They were like looking into twin galaxies, swirling with points of light that seemed to stretch into infinity. Yarrick stumbled backward, but the being made no aggressive moves. Instead, it watched him with what appeared to be curiosity and perhaps even gratitude. Communication attempts. The creature tried to speak, but only soft, musical tones emerged from its throat. However, Yarrick noticed that the patterns of light beneath its skin seemed to pulse in rhythm with the sounds. It was trying to communicate. He pulled out his data pad and began recording the light patterns, hoping the station's computers might be able to decode them. Growing concern. As minutes passed, the creature's condition continued to deteriorate. The cracks in its skin were spreading, and the internal light was growing dimmer. Yarrick realized he was running out of time. He needed to get the being to the medical bay, but how could he move something so fragile without causing more damage? The decision. Making a choice that would change everything, Yarrick activated his emergency beacon. Within minutes, he would have to explain to station security why he was in a restricted area with an unknown alien life form. But looking into those galaxy-like eyes, he knew he couldn't let this magnificent being die alone in the darkness. First contact protocols. The creature seemed to understand his intention. It raised one delicate hand and touched Yarrick's wrist. The moment of contact sent a warm pulse through his body, and suddenly he could sense the being's emotions. Gratitude, hope, and something else, urgency. This creature wasn't just lost or injured. It was here for a reason, and that reason was vitally important. The mystery deepens. As Yarrick waited for help to arrive, he noticed something else. The creature's presence was affecting the abandoned mining equipment around them. Old machines were sparking back to life, and the air itself seemed to hum with energy. Whatever this being was, it possessed power beyond anything in human technology. The sound of approaching footsteps echoed through the tunnel. Yarrick's rescue mission was about to become something much bigger than he had ever imagined. Part 2, The Investigation. The Security Alert. Commander Blake Harrison's morning coffee went cold as the emergency beacon flashed across his security console. Another false alarm in the abandoned sectors, he thought grimly. But when he saw the energy readings accompanying Yarrick's distress signal, his expression changed. These numbers were impossible, more power than the entire station generated in a day, all concentrated in one small area. Arrival at the scene. Harrison assembled a small security team and made his way to the lower mining levels. The tunnels felt different somehow, charged with an energy that made the hair on his arms stand up. When they reached the cavern, he stopped dead in his tracks. Yarrick was kneeling beside something that shouldn't exist, a living being made of what looked like pure crystal and starlight. Immediate assessment. The creature was conscious now, its galaxy-like eyes tracking Harrison's movements with intelligent awareness. Despite its alien appearance, there was something oddly peaceful about its presence. The being's crystalline skin pulsed with soft blue light, and wherever that light touched the old mining equipment, dead machines hummed back to life. Questioning Yarrick. "How long has it been here?" Harrison demanded, his commander instincts taking over. Yarrick explained how he'd found the creature while checking power lines, how it seemed to be dying when he first discovered it. But what concerned Harrison most was the way the being responded to human presence, not with fear or aggression, but with what seemed like recognition. Scanning for threats. Harrison's security scanner went wild as he approached the creature. The readings showed energy patterns unlike anything in their databases, but also something else, familiar technological signatures buried deep in the alien code. This wasn't just any unknown species. The energy patterns matched fragments from ancient ruins found on distant worlds. The creature's response. As if sensing Harrison's growing understanding, the crystalline being slowly raised one hand toward him. The commander hesitated, then made a decision that surprised even himself. He removed his glove and touched the creature's palm. The moment of contact sent images flooding through his mind, vast cities of crystal and light, star-spanning civilizations, and something dark approaching from the void between galaxies. Ancient warnings. The visions lasted only seconds, but Harrison understood their meaning. This being wasn't just a random visitor, it was a guardian, one of many scattered across the galaxy as an early warning system. And the warnings it carried were terrifying. Something was coming, something that had destroyed civilizations before and would do so again unless stopped. Securing the area. Harrison immediately ordered the mining tunnels sealed and classified. Whatever this creature was, it couldn't become common knowledge until they understood more. He posted guards at every entrance and sent word to the station's science division. They would need experts, and quickly. Growing power. Over the next few hours, the creature's condition continued to improve. Its internal light grew stronger, and the cracks in its crystalline skin began to heal. But with its recovery came side effects that worried Harrison. Electronics throughout the lower levels were activating randomly, and some crew members reported strange dreams filled with images of distant stars. Communication breakthrough. Dr. Yarrick had been working tirelessly to decode the creature's light patterns, and finally achieved a breakthrough. The being wasn't just trying to communicate, it was trying to warn them. The patterns told a story of an ancient enemy, a force from dark space that consumed entire worlds and left nothing but emptiness behind. The bigger picture. Harrison realized this discovery would change everything. The creature's presence on their remote mining station wasn't an accident. It had been sent here, drawn by something in human space that the ancient guardians recognized as significant. Earth and its colonies were about to become the front line in a war most people didn't even know was coming. Calling for backup. As night fell over the station, Harrison sent an encrypted message to Fleet Command. He requested the immediate deployment of their best xenobiologist and a science team capable of handling first contact scenarios. The creature was stable for now, but Harrison had a feeling their peaceful mining operation was about to become the most important location in human space. The crystalline guardian pulsed gently in the darkness, its light carrying warnings of dangers yet to come. Part 3, The Revelation. The specialist arrives. Professor Dante Cross stepped off the emergency transport ship with the confidence of a man who had spent his career studying the impossible. His reputation as the galaxy's leading xenobiologist had earned him access to classified discoveries across human space, but nothing had prepared him for the reports from Harrison's mining station. First examination. Cross approached the crystalline being with scientific fascination tempered by caution. The creature had grown stronger since Harrison's initial contact, its light more stable and its awareness more focused. When Cross activated his advanced scanning equipment, the readings were beyond anything in his experience. This wasn't just an alien life form, it was a fusion of biology and technology at a level humans had never achieved. The Guardian's history. Through careful analysis of the creature's energy patterns and the visions it shared through touch, Cross began to piece together its incredible story. The being was called a quantum guardian, one of thousands created by an ancient civilization that spanned multiple galaxies millions of years ago. These guardians were living early warning systems, scattered across space to watch for the return of something they called the Void Hunters. Ancient civilization revealed. The Quantum Guardians' creators had been the first to encounter the Void Hunters, dark entities that consumed the life energy of entire star systems, leaving behind empty space where thriving worlds once existed. The ancient civilization had fought back, but even their incredible technology could only slow the hunters, not stop them completely. The warning system. Before their final defeat, the ancients had created the Quantum Guardians as their last desperate measure. Each guardian carried the complete knowledge of their civilization, including the location of hidden weapons and the keys to awakening dormant defenses scattered throughout the galaxy. They were designed to activate when the Void Hunters returned, as the ancients knew they inevitably would. Humanity's role. What shocked Cross most was the Guardians' revelation about humanity itself. The ancient civilization hadn't been entirely alien, they were humanity's distant ancestors, seated across the galaxy before the Void Hunters' first attack. Humans carried dormant genetic codes that could be awakened, codes that would allow them to use the ancient weapons and technologies. The approaching threat. The Quantum Guardians' arrival at the mining station wasn't random. It had detected energy signatures from human space that matched the Void Hunters' approach pattern. Deep space monitoring stations had been picking up unusual readings from the galactic edge, dismissing them as natural phenomena. But the Guardian knew better, the Void Hunters were returning, and they would reach human space within months. Technological integration. As Cross studied the Guardian's physiology, he made another startling discovery. The creature's crystalline structure could interface directly with human technology, enhancing and amplifying it beyond normal capabilities. The mining equipment that had reactivated in the Guardian's presence wasn't just responding to its energy, it was being upgraded to technologies humans hadn't invented yet. The awakening begins. The Guardian began sharing more complex information with Cross, including star charts showing the locations of ancient defensive installations throughout human space. Many were hidden on worlds humanity had already colonized, disguised as natural formations or buried beneath cities that had unknowingly been built on top of them. Genetic activation. Cross ran tests on himself and the station crew who had been exposed to the Guardian's energy. The results were remarkable. Dormant sections of their DNA were activating, granting enhanced cognitive abilities and an intuitive understanding of technologies they had never seen before. The ancient genetic codes were awakening, preparing humanity for the battle to come. The Resistance Network. The Guardian revealed that it wasn't alone. Across the galaxy, other Quantum Guardians were awakening on worlds where humans had spread. Each one was making contact with local populations, sharing knowledge and beginning the process of preparing for the Void Hunters' return. A resistance network was forming, one that spanned star systems and species. Urgent preparations. Cross realized that time was running short. The Void Hunters moved between galaxies, but once they entered human space, their advance would be swift and merciless. The Quantum Guardians could help humanity access ancient weapons and technologies, but only if the activation process was completed in time. The call to action. Working with Commander Harrison, Cross sent urgent messages to every human colony and military installation. The Quantum Guardian provided authentication codes that would prove the incredible nature of their claims. Humanity needed to mobilize not just their military forces, but their scientists, engineers, and anyone capable of understanding and implementing technologies beyond current human knowledge. Transformation begins. As the Guardians' influence spread throughout the station, Cross watched in amazement as crew members began demonstrating abilities they had never possessed. Engineers understood complex alien systems intuitively, while communications officers found they could interpret signals from across the galaxy. Humanity was evolving, guided by the wisdom of their ancient ancestors. The Quantum Guardian pulsed with approval as Cross prepared to change the course of human history forever. Part 4, The Alliance. Fleet Commander responds. Captain Nora Sterling commanded the largest battle fleet in human space, but she had never faced a briefing quite like this one. The Quantum Guardian's warnings, transmitted through Professor Cross's urgent communications, had reached fleet headquarters just as deep space sensors began detecting massive gravitational anomalies at the galaxy's edge. The Void Hunters were no longer theoretical, they were 3 months out and approaching fast. Military mobilization. Sterling immediately ordered a full fleet mobilization, calling in ships from across human space. But as she studied the Guardians' shared tactical data, she realized conventional weapons would be useless against the Void Hunters. These entities didn't just destroy ships, they drained the life force from entire crews, leaving behind empty hulks drifting in space. Ancient weapons revealed. The Quantum Guardian had provided coordinates for hidden weapons caches throughout human territory. Sterling dispatched elite teams to dozens of worlds, following the Guardian's guidance to uncover technologies that had been waiting for millions of years. What they found was beyond their wildest imagination: weapons that could tear holes in space itself, shields that existed in multiple dimensions, and ships that moved faster than light without traditional engines. The learning curve. Integrating ancient technology with human systems proved challenging, even with the genetic awakening the Guardian had triggered. Sterling found herself relying heavily on crew members who showed the strongest response to the Guardian's influence. These individuals seemed to understand the alien technologies instinctively, as if remembering knowledge they had never learned. Contact with other species. The Quantum Guardian revealed another crucial piece of information: humanity wasn't the only species descended from the ancient civilization. Across the galaxy, other races were also experiencing awakenings as their own Quantum Guardians made contact. Sterling began receiving communications from alien species that had been enemies or strangers just weeks before. The Galactic Alliance. Within days, an unprecedented alliance began forming. The proud warrior race of the Krillians, the technological masters known as the Nethys, and dozens of other species all united under a single banner. Each race brought their own strengths and access to ancient technologies hidden on their homeworlds. The Quantum Guardians served as translators and coordinators, their shared knowledge bridging the gaps between vastly different cultures. Sterling's transformation. As fleet commander, Sterling had been chosen to interface directly with multiple Quantum Guardians. The experience was overwhelming. Centuries of tactical knowledge flooded her mind, along with memories of battles fought across multiple galaxies. She began to understand the true scale of the threat they faced, and the incredible sacrifice the ancient civilization had made to give their descendants this one chance. Strategic preparations. The Alliance worked frantically to prepare defenses. Ancient shipyards hidden in asteroid fields came online for the first time in millions of years, producing vessels that combined the best of old and new technologies. Space stations that had appeared to be natural phenomena revealed themselves as massive weapon platforms, their crystalline structures similar to the Quantum Guardians themselves. The first encounters. Advanced scouts began reporting contact with Void Hunter probes at the galaxy's outer rim. These encounters confirmed the Guardians' warnings: the Void Hunters were even more dangerous than anticipated. Entire scout ships simply vanished, their crews' life forces drained away in seconds. Conventional military tactics would be suicide against such enemies. Unified command structure. Sterling found herself appointed as the supreme commander of the Galactic Alliance fleet, with quantum guardians serving as her strategic advisors. The ancient beings could predict Void Hunter movement patterns and suggest countermeasures that no single species could have developed alone. Their shared consciousness allowed for coordination across vast distances in real time. The defensive grid. Working together, the Alliance races began constructing a defensive perimeter around inhabited systems. The ancient technologies allowed for barriers that existed in multiple dimensions, making it impossible for the Void Hunters to simply drain away their energy. Entire solar systems became fortified positions, with every planet contributing to the collective defense. Sterling's burden. As the final preparations neared completion, Sterling felt the weight of countless lives on her shoulders. The Quantum Guardians had made it clear that this battle would determine not just the fate of humanity, but of all life in the galaxy. If they failed, the Void Hunters would continue their march across the universe, leaving nothing but emptiness in their wake. The moment of truth. Long-range sensors detected the main Void Hunter force approaching the galaxy's edge. Sterling stood on the bridge of her flagship, now enhanced with ancient technology that made it barely recognizable as human construction. Around her, officers from dozens of species worked in perfect coordination, guided by the wisdom of the Quantum Guardians. Final preparations. The Alliance fleet took position along the galactic perimeter, a force unlike anything ever assembled. Ships that phased in and out of reality flew alongside vessels that manipulated gravity itself. At the center of it all, the Quantum Guardians pulsed with synchronized light, their ancient knowledge finally being put to the ultimate test. Sterling opened a communication channel to every ship in the fleet. The moment they had all been preparing for was about to begin, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance.